What the fuck is a loop? No, really, open Twitter right now and you'll find thousands of people arguing about loops. You can see here Peter Steinberger, who co-founded OpenAI, he's saying literally just yesterday, he's like, hey, you shouldn't be coding anymore. You should be designing loops that prompt your agents. And just below on June 7th, we have Boris Cherny, who is the founder of Claude Code. I don't prompt Claude anymore. My job is to write loops. In this video, I want to show you exactly what loops are and why you should be using loops, how you should be using loops, and why, without clickbait, prompting might be dead in 2026. So what is actually a loop? People are a little bit confused because some people are saying, okay, a loop is just a fancy cron job. And for those of you that don't know what a cron job is, it's basically just a scheduled automation, which happens all the time in software development and softwares that you use all day. It's like, hey, if you want something to happen tomorrow, next week, whatever, the software automatically will go and execute that every time you decide to do that. But a cron job is usually a fixed script. You have to have that defined in advance where you say exactly what you want it to do every single week or every single day. What is the difference between a cron job and a loop? You can set a goal and then it will work on its own and check, fixes what's wrong and does it again. And it keeps going until it's actually done. You set an overarching goal. So for example, I would like you to review my entire software, go find all of the bugs and fix them. And then it will go and it will do that. It will find one bug, it will fix it, and then it will continue doing that. It's like an agent that goes out and it continues doing something until it's done. And you've probably heard me talking about goals in some other videos because I've been using that feature a lot. But basically, it's an evolution from a feature that we had earlier, which is the loop feature, so /loop, which is just basically a schedule for some kind of agent. And now with the goal feature, you can have several loops and several agents running below towards all achieving one goal. So right now, if you're using ChatGPT or Claude Code or whatever, and you're already advanced in using it, you might still be the only loop. You put something in, you type, you fix, you give it inputs, and you get outputs, right? You want a new script for an ad campaign. You put it in there, you get a new script. You're still in control of this entire thing. And once you close the tab or you get rid of it, it's all gone. Once you close your computer, you start fresh. So what happens now is we have skills, right? And you all know about skills. You've probably used a ton of skills. A skill is like a playbook where you can use several commands and you can execute it in advance. So with the same example, if I'm trying to write ad scripts and I have a skill that has all my best performing ad scripts, plus where to look, plus to use the 4-play MCP, plus to where to save everything, then every time I want new ad scripts, it can follow my playbook that is probably extensively better than what other people are doing right now. But this is not everything yet. So what you can do next is you can create a loop around all of your skills and your playbooks that you have in place. So let's say you're still trying to complete that ad campaign. You can now have a skill for monitoring your ads via the Meta API. You can monitor your ad metrics and you can pull those in. You can look at your ads. You can have playbooks to write new scripts, playbooks to go create those ads in Canva or wherever you're creating them, and then bring those ads back into the Meta Ads Manager and basically run that as many times as needed in order to succeed, whatever your goal may be. And if you're trying to bring down your CPN, you know you can do so with better hooks, better ad scripts, more information in your campaign. You can get Claude to run that on autopilot. So let me give you another example. Let's say it's not ad campaigns now, but you have leads. Everyone probably has leads. Everyone knows that follow-up is probably where you sign the most leads, but nobody really wants to do it. It's a very tough process to follow up with your leads properly over a significant amount of time. So you could set a goal that says, hey, I want to follow up with my leads until they either unsubscribe or they express interest in buying. And you could connect this with your CRM, HubSpot, Go High Level, Salesforce, whatever it is, and pull all of the leads that could have gone cold. So for example, for us, we use High Level, then we use Fathom, then we use a bunch of other systems in place, and we have agents that will be there and will see all of the leads coming in. We'll know exactly what happened. Did a salesperson have a call with that lead? What did they say on the call? And what are the next steps? And they will go and they will process these leads, put them into one place, and then there will be follow-up messages that are drafted and put into the salesperson's Slack channel. And like this, there's always a follow-up written and ready for the salesperson to reach out to that lead, right? All he needs to do is check it, edit 1 or 2 sentences, maybe add something if they want, and then send it off on the button. And this is something you can do, and you can run autonomously as long as you want to also check back and see, okay, based off of our follow-up, how many leads did we close? How much more revenue did we generate based off of this loop that we had in place? And this is, I guess, the gap that many people are looking for. Is AI even helping my business be more efficient, more profitable, generate more revenue? Whatever it is, right? You want to measure that, and you want to pull that information back to be able to say, okay, well, we just put this system in place and the system is actually working for us. So that is one example. Now, one issue that many people are talking about, obviously this is Pete Steinberger from OpenAI and Boris from Claude. And so they're both kind of incentivized and biased to sell us more tokens or the usage of tokens. And for everyone on a subscription, obviously, you notice your limits and that's one thing. But for all of the businesses, you might have noticed that Uber burned through their budget in a couple of months. Microsoft completely shut down Anthropic's usage. And many companies are feeling, okay, well, it seems like at the beginning was like, okay, let's token max and let's spend as much as we can. And now they're like, oh shit, we're spending too much money. And so this is a valid, larger concern. Like if we run these loops, who is going to be there and make sure that these loops are not just running endlessly and just wasting a bunch of tokens and money, even if it could be solved faster? So it's important that you build in respective harnesses. And this is what I've been seeing. I'm not a complete expert on this. I'm sure there's a bunch of software engineers that understand this way better than I do. But basically for me, it's just been, hey, how do I put in checks within these loops? Like for example, the follow-up messages that I answered, those are pre-written. It's pretty simple. And then it's put into the Slack inbox of the closer, which then checks it and sends it out, right? So it's not a complete autonomous loop. If you're building completely autonomous loops, you need to have very strict guardrails in place so that you can check this so that it doesn't just run endlessly. And obviously on your subscription, if you're running the /goal command, you can really experiment and see how far it can go. And then you'll quickly realize some of these loops that are just spinning in circles, and you can stop them and interact with it and give it again some direction so that then for new loops you don't run into this problem anymore. So what is the current best practice, or how can you be most efficient and maybe ship 8 times as much code as like all of the Anthropic engineers do, or be 8 times as productive in your business right now? Take it from the man himself. Boris, who is the founder of Claude Code, put down right now just a couple of days ago what he's doing all the time. So first one should be clear. If you're not using auto mode yet, definitely use auto mode. So you don't need to click enter all the time. If you're on a Mac, it's shift and tab, and then you can switch from plan to skip permissions and to auto mode. Number 2 is dynamic workflows. Now, if you haven't heard about this, this is just a new feature they released where you can have hundreds of agents spawn out and do something for you. This is kind of an upgrade to what we had before. Is like we had agents, agent teams, which they all use one file to do something together. And now agent workflows, as far as I understand, just is an extension to that. So they don't use one file together, but they spawn out and you can have as many as needed to get something done. So say, for example, if you have a huge code base, or if you have a huge workspace with a bunch of stuff that you need to review, you could have 50 agents go in parallel, and each agent look at one piece of the workload, one piece of the code base or the files that you want to look at, look over them, find everything they need to find, and then report back to the orchestration layer that wants to do that. Use goal or loop. Again, loop is just the simple function of scheduling something over and over again, but not using some kind of simple script, but actually an agent or like something more sophisticated behind it. So a loop would be something like, hey, every day go into my CRM, check leads that we may need to follow up with based off of the conversation history and what you find in Fathom, stuff like that. So now every day the agent can go and find new leads that we should follow up with, and it will do so intelligently. So it will see, oh, this person replied, I'm ready to get started, and already paid a deposit, so we may not need to follow up with that person. Another person did not reply, and the Fathom call says something that we should have discussed with them, and so there it's like, okay, here, let me write the follow-up for you. You get the idea. Goal is just a bunch of loops intertwine to work for one higher achievement, right? So here we say, hey, I would like to complete this app and this is exactly what I want it to do. And then the agents will go out and they will do what is necessary, and we'll just have a bunch of these loops inside of the goal to continue working on it until it's actually done. So if you run into an error or a bug or something doesn't work, it will just re-prompt it and do it again until it actually finalizes that. So I really love Goal. You can get a bunch of work done in a very small amount of time. Then use Claude Code or Codex in the cloud. Easiest, so you can just close your laptop. This is one I haven't been using a lot. And honestly, I guess I'm falling behind here because I still use it in my terminal a lot, but maybe this is easier and I should just use the GitHub and the PRs and whatever to connect with that. I don't know. If you think I'm falling completely behind, please let me know in the comments, and I definitely need to start using the desktop app more, I guess. And make sure Claude has a way to self-verify and look at its work end to end. I cannot stress this enough. I've been using this all the time in the last couple of months. You can use browser or whatever you need to do to have Claude or Codex review your stuff. So if you're building a landing page, you would want to make sure that it takes screenshots of this and it makes sure the copy is on point, it makes sure it doesn't break, make sure it's mobile optimized and all of these things, right? It can do all that for you. So if you're not doing any of these yet, you may want to start with one. Definitely start using auto mode, the goal feature and the loop feature, because it just takes you light years ahead of what's actually going on. And you will realize it's less about prompting the individual task and more about prompting what you would like the outcome to be. So say, for example, you're trying to do the ad campaign or you're trying to do an email campaign. And this is a great example too. Just recently, I set up an entire cold email campaign for a podcast entirely through Claude Code and the APIs. So I went to Claude Code. I said, hey, go look for this target audience, use my Clay profile to go find these people, then export them, put them into Smart Lead, which is this cold email tool, and this LinkedIn tool. Go connect with these tools, upload the people there, and start the campaign. And it did everything. It found the people, it wrote the copy, it exported them, it put them into the tool, and it started the cold email campaign. Maybe this is a video for another session. So if you'd like to see that, go check the links below, or I'll put it up here somewhere. And as soon as I complete it, you should definitely go watch that video if you're into cold email or customer acquisition. And if not, make sure you use these features, and see you soon.